Hello, 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 and of course, hello. Hope you're doing very well. I'm doing fantastic. Welcome to the video. Now, today's video, I'm going to be sharing one of my stand-up gigs that I did fairly recently. I will say it was a live stand-up gig, but it wasn't. It was a virtual one. Definitely were people listening, so I've been told, but can never be sure. So without further ado, hope you enjoy. Let's go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have this.
Before we go on with the show, just thought I'd mention, if you do enjoy it, feel free to hit the like, drop a comment, push subscribe, or ding the bell. If you don't, something might happen to some pandas. Enjoy.
The sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Like I said, my name is Lee, spelled Leigh, which I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking,
Are you a girl?
that's a interesting spelling. And you're right, it is. Some say it represents nobility in Old English or strength in ancient Gaelic. But to me, it represents the fact that my parents were adamant that they were having a girl, yet stubborn enough to keep the spelling, despite it obviously being a boy. As you can imagine, having a name like this does lead to some awkward situations. For example, last time I went for a job interview, I was met by a disappointed Randy boss who was expecting me a hot blonde in a skirt, and instead he was met by this: I want to be extra from Sounds of Anarchy. It's even worse when you invite to a stag do and the rest of the guys just assume that you're the stripper in the chat. Talking about stag do's, the last one I was on was my mate's one in Liverpool. Now, out of all the things that the best man could organise, he decided that we're going to go paintballing. The funny thing about paintballing is, when you agree to it 5 months out, it's a really fun idea. However, when you're woken up at 9 a.m. hungover and told you're going paintballing, you suddenly find God. And you do a lot of soul searching and confessing for your previous sins. So there we were, about a group of 15 of us, making our way downtown to the paintball. In hindsight, alarm bells should have started ringing when I read that sign that said, "Can reduce pressures to safe levels." Now, I don't know if it's just me, but why isn't it always at safe levels? Like, who's opting for dangerous ones, right? Turns out we weren't the only ones with this idea. No, we were met by another stag group of what can only be described as ex-SAS members. They had their own equipment, their own gear, their own tactics. It was pretty scary, if I'm being honest. Thankfully, the rules were simple. Rule 1, shoot the other team. Rule 2, don't get shot. Simple. If and when you did get shot, you had to make your way to a wee bunker at the back of the room, stay there for a few seconds, and return to the fight. So the whistle blows, and I immediately make a beeline for the biggest thing that can cover me. I'm joined by my mate who started shouting, "Flank them! Flank them!" I turn to tell him to shut up because he'll hear you when, bang, I get shot to the back of the head. And suddenly, my whole world goes very quiet and very slow. And I have an epiphany. In that moment in time, I realised I'd be shit in the army. I'm brought back to reality to the sound of my mate who's still shouting as if he's in Apocalypse Now or Platoon. It's at this moment that the drink from the night before says it's going to join the party, which was fun. Paintballs are flying, grown men are crying. I, at this point, feel like I'm actually dying. The whole thing was like a really poor executed, cheap version of Saving Private Ryan. Even the Germans turned up for some odd reason. I go to make my way back to the bunker, and it's at this point that a group of wannabe Rambos in the corner spot this and sensing first blood, decided it's open season and started to pelt me with paintballs. I can't be sure, but I think they were each trying to tag me individually with their name through the medium of paint and pain. I dragged my sorry arse back to the bunker, only to find that the rest of my team had been in there from the very beginning, watching the Everton versus Liverpool game on the referee's phone. In the words of Cilla Black, surprise, surprise. Yeah, lost every game that day. It wasn't a complete failure, no, because I did learn the lesson to the infamous question, what is it good for? Turns out it makes a cracking hangover cure. The funny thing about that story is, if that happened today, it would consist of me sitting in my boxers, playing Call of Duty, and getting drunk. So basically just a Saturday night then. Who am I kidding? Any night of the week at this point. I mean, what is life? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Sorry.
No more.
Sorry, I've got to just pause the video here. I feel a bit bad. I lied about the panda stuff at the beginning. It was on my conscience. Nothing's going to happen to any pandas if you don't like, comment, subscribe, or ding that bell. However, if that's the only reason why you did like, comment, subscribe, or ding that bell, and that says more about you than it does me, really. It does. And I think the only way to kind of balance that guilt that you're feeling right now is to actually like, comment, subscribe, or ding that bell.
I don't know if you can tell, but lockdown's getting to me a little bit. In fact, had get a bit creative, and I started my own bucket list, or my bargain bucket list, as I've coined it, due to the global financial meltdown that we're all facing. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to run through what I've been up to, and maybe inspire you to do the same. So if we're all good with that, I'll just crack on. We're good? Good.
Yep.
Perfect. And at number 5, climbing Mount Everest.
Woo!
That's climbing Mount Everest. As you can imagine, it's pretty tricky to do that. Not least for the fact that I live in a bungalow. So I've just been walking up and down the front of these steps for the past 6 months. Not gonna lie, progress is quite slow. I think at this point I made it to the Everest car park. The window shop, that is, not the actual mountain. To be fair, I don't think the mountain has a car park, if I'm right. My parents have been helping me to their credit. They've been throwing crushed ice at me to help replicate some of the conditions that I'd be facing up there. It started out as crushed, and then the dispenser broke. So for the past 6 months, I've just been throwing, just blocks of ice at me, which not gonna hurt. It's painful, hurts a lot, lots of bruising, but it's a good distraction. And after all, it's not about the journey; it's about the destination. And I, for one, cannot wait until I see the views. After all the adverts were saying that the top of it is the window to the world. And at number 4, swimming with dolphins. That's swimming with dolphins there. On further investigation, turns out there's no dolphins local to us. But we do have a pond, so I tweaked it slightly so it's swimming with fish instead. Although, since the pond's only 2 feet deep, it's less swimming with fish as it is wading with fish. And since they died years ago, it's just turned into wading in fish mush, which, granted, isn't as glamorous as dolphins, but it's another one tipped on the list, and my feet have been feeling fantastic ever since. And at number 3, skydiving. That's skydiving. Simple one, this one. I've just been jumping off slightly tall in the garden, like tables on chairs with a bag for life strapped to me. It's pretty exhilarating, not going to lie. You know, not knowing you're going to hit the ground before the bag opens. It doesn't. Like I said, it's fairly short height spin jumping. Although I'm glad to report I survived. No broken bones, nothing like that. The bag hasn't. That's torn to shreds. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I feel like I've got to address it now. That whole bag for life thing is a little bit of a con. Either that or it's working towards marriage rules, and this is just a sad attempt to slowly divorce me. In which case, that's very, very depressing. And number 2, jewel thief. That's jewel thief. I figure since I've got the mask on, well, anyway, might as well. Be rude not to. Although I've got to say it is pretty time consuming having to wipe down all the objects with hand sanitizer before I chuck it in the old swag bag. And also, I don't know about you, but my glasses get quite steamed up when I'm wearing a mask. So I rarely get through a house without, making a mess or a racket. And fun fact, there's only so many times you can get away with the quote, "Wait a second, this isn't my house," when you're caught with a homeowner. That's twice. You get away with that twice, and then the cops are called, and no one's having a good day after that. And number 1, I'll come clean. I ran out of ideas after the first 4. In hindsight, I should have switched the order. What else have I been up to? Got it. And number 1, cleaning out his junk drawer. That's cleaning out his junk drawer. It was one hell of a state, to be honest. There was so much crap in it, it could be mistaken for the TARDIS. When I was going through, I actually found a Tamagotchi from the year 2000, believe it or not. And I was quite surprised to see it was still working and still alive. And growing up now, she's got a wife, 2 kids, lives in a really nice house in a really nice neighbourhood, paying for a mortgage that can't quite afford, if it's being honest with itself. Working a dead-end job that it hates because society dictates that it should get a normal job, take care of its responsibilities and stop chasing its pipe dreams. So you'll find him now just sitting at work, watching the clock count down, waiting for the battery to die, and that sweet, sweet, sweet release of darkness. Sorry, where was I? Oh yes, comedy, yes. I also found a coin from 1953, which, believe it or not, the same year as the Queen's coronation. I know, coincidental or what? 60 plus years of the Queen being on the throne, and not one hint of a scandal. Well, provable scandal that is. R.I.P. Diana. It did make me think that, despite some of her family members pushing the boundaries, Andrew, which we won't talk about due to legal reasons, she never has. And I did think, what would happen if in the last few years of her reign, she thought, fuck it, I'm just going to go mad, a bit crazy. Imagine the scenes, right? She'd be walking into a strip joint, throwing selfies at the strippers. Going, that's legal tender. Keep the change, love. There's plenty more where that came from. She'd be joyriding the horse down the mall, pissed out her skull, going, "Yas, Queen, slay!" She'd be, phoning up world leaders at 3 o'clock in the morning after the club shut, trying to arrange a booty call. It'd be like, Putin, you make one so horny. Why don't you come on over and I'll show you the crown jewels? I'll be honest, so she'll be starting about a car park with a shield in one arm and a sword in the other, going, "Who's getting later next? It doesn't hurt, I promise." Whilst the head of her chauffeur slowly rolls on past. I'll be honest, that's a royal family I can get behind. I didn't think I'd end up painting the Queen. I'd be a sex pest or a drunken sex pest. But I suppose that's what they mean by the new normal. Well, whilst I'm ahead, I want to make it clear that I have no plans to go to Paris in the far or near future. So if you don't see me again, or if you hear stories, it's her. She's seen this. She's done something. So whilst I'm ahead, what I'll say is thank you very much. It's been great to be here. I hope you all had fun. I've been Lee Campbell. You've been the audience. This has been great. Thank you very much. Till next time. Bye.
Yay!
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.